Okay, I'm recording now. Okay, so you get into an organization. You have just started with this organization. Who are the people you will encounter initially? Your line manager, that's for sure. Your line manager will be more concerned about your HR stuff. But you will definitely meet your tribe or departmental lead. Okay, tribe. I will share this video and the slides with you. I will share it with you. The tribe and departmental lead, that's for sure. The product owner, and then eventually the team, and then the business stakeholders. Because with the departmental lead or the tribe lead, they would want you to become familiar with what it is they are trying to achieve. Okay, they would want you to be familiar with that, whether it's the product, whether it's the services that they deliver, and also to give you a picture of what the team you're going to be taking care of, the team you're going to be responsible for. They want you to know what the expectations are and how the team contributes to the larger organizational objective. So that's the conversation will need to go along those lines. And if it is not going along those lines, then you want to probably ask questions to say, okay, so what exactly are the goals for this tribe? What are we trying to achieve? What are the greater organizational goals that we contribute to? And then the product owner, as we know, it is the voice of the customer for the team, okay? So you want to engage immediately with the product owner to say, okay, what does the backlog look like? What are we contributing to? What are the pain points so far? You want to have a picture of what it is that the team needs to work to achieve the ultimate goal for the organization. And of course, eventually you meet the team. And then while you're talking with the product owner may I would expect the product owner to now start talking about the business stakeholders, the business segments, and the people responsible for those segments, which will then be the business stakeholders. So this will be your first encounters, and it will be to get a view of what it is the team contributes to. Now you come into an organization. Hey, what do you know? You don't know much about this organization. You don't know much at all. You may have read their website and stuff like that. That's about all you really have and whatever was discussed during the interview. First advice, make sure you walk around with a pen and jotter. Always go around with a pen and jotter, so that when people are telling you things, you're putting it down today, because you can't always carry your laptop around. And don't trust that you will remember those things. So get your pen and jotter handy all the time. Our memory will always fail us, but a pen and paper will never fail you. You go back to it and you will remember. Now, I talked already about the brief on business, product, and services on offer. The product owner probably will have that conversation with you. You want to really get that big picture. You don't need too much of the detail, but that big picture that makes you go, okay, this is what this organization is trying to achieve. Okay, this is what the team needs to contribute to that larger objective. The product roadmap. Where is the product roadmap? Do they have a product roadmap? Where is the strategy? Do they have one? So that you can get familiar with it, okay? In as much as we're working in sprints, we must have a view of where we are going. We must have that larger picture view. We must have it. So ask for those documentation. They probably have a space where, like a repository where they have all these things, okay? Then also look at their quarterly objectives, because you see, there's the strategy, there's the roadmap, which is then broken down into quarters, like we have done when we started our design thinking journey for our sprints. So really find all those documents to see, okay, this quarter, this is the focus. Next quarter, this is the focus. Like I said, the 1-year strategy broken into quarterly objectives. And then at the portfolio level, okay, we have the team level here, portfolio up there. At the portfolio level, they are using what we call Kanban. That is what they are using at that level, or that is what they should be using at that level, because they will not be doing Scrum. So at that level, okay, Grace, you remember the quarterly roadmap you created for LBU, right? Now, that kind of roadmap, do not be surprised if they now have it on a Kanban system, okay? They will have it on a Kanban system, and then they'll go, okay, this is what we are doing this quarter. And then you now need to start thinking about WIP limit, just in case they bring you in at that level. One of the advice you want to give them at that level is to say, let's have a WIP limit. Let us not have too many initiatives in progress or in process, okay? Because sometimes when we have too many things happening at the same time, we are not finishing anything. We are not finishing anything. So in case they bring you in at that level, you are asking, okay, how many initiatives do we have open? How many things are we finishing? And what is the value of all these things we are doing? Can we limit the initiatives we are doing and focus on the ones that adds the most value? In other words, can we put a limit to our WIP? Okay, can we minimize the amount of work we are doing at any one time so that we can finish things? I hope I'm making sense. Please ask questions if it's not clear. So epics at the portfolio level cascades into the team backlog. And that is what we mean by alignment. We cannot say we are looking for banana at the portfolio level and then we are developing oranges. No, there must be alignment. And this is where the cascading comes in. So if at this level we are saying we are developing bananas, when we come into the backlog in the team, then all the backlog items must be contributing to delivering that banana, not oranges. So there must be consistency and there must be alignment. Now, the next question now is, if our decision here changes, how quickly is it reflected in the backlog? If at this level we say, okay, we are not developing bananas anymore, we are developing apples now, how quickly can that backlog in the team change to apples? Am I making sense here? These are the things you are looking out for. So that if there's a gap in communication, you are then saying, why is it that we decided 2 weeks ago that it is banana we want here, but we are still developing apples here? Where is the gap in communication? You want to think like that along with them. You want to bring that to their attention. Because one of the things we need to achieve in an agile environment is the ability to pivot. The ability to pivot. And the ability to pivot can only be enhanced with clear communication channels. Okay? With very clear communication channels. Things have changed, bam, 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 this person knows it has changed, this backlog has changed, and everything has changed. And then we move on to what has changed. And we push to one side what can be done later. Okay? That is so important. Intentionally, and I use the word intentionally, every day, the moment you start your work from day one, reflect on how your day went. As an agilist, you need to now put all this reflect and adapt, inspect and adapt mindset in place. From day one, have a jotter, write things down as they happen, okay? And at the end of the day, reflect, okay, this happened, that happened. Was my approach right? If you want to then come back to me and ask me any questions, feel free to do so, okay? If you think, okay, your analysis and your judgment is fine, that's okay, because you are also developing yourself. But where you think you need someone else's input, feel free to come to me. There are some things you will be able to do on your own, without a doubt. Some things you'll be able to do on your own. But where you feel stuck, you feel you need my input, please feel free to come back to me to say, Mary, this was what happened today. This was what I did. Was that the right thing to do? What could I have done better? Whatever the case may be, please reflect every day so that you can grow fast, okay? Now, when you come into an organization as an agilist, especially even as a coach, as a Scrum Master, 3 things you need to concentrate on. Team, ordered backlog, working tested software. Now, it's like saying you want to make cake. You can't make cake without flour now. You need your flour. The same goes here. You can't have an ordered backlog without a great team that knows what they are doing. It's not possible. So in order to have a great backlog, we need a great team. How do you have a great team? We've already covered most of it in the process of our training. You need a great team. Otherwise, it is just a group of people put together. It is just a group of people, okay? Now, you have a team. We are now thinking of, okay, how can we make this a great team? A great team is a team that can collaborate properly. A great team is a team that can, communicate effectively. A great team is a team that can challenge, okay? Challenge one another, without taking it personally, because they know they have a shared understanding of what psychological safety is in that team, okay? They know that this is about our deliverables. This is about the outcomes. This is about the impact we want to achieve, okay? So all the things you need to do, remember the formative stages, remember the storming, remember the norming, remember the performance. So you need to figure out where this team is at. You start with a team, you need to figure out where is this team? Are they in the forming stage, storming, norming, whatever? Where are they? Okay, so you want to ask a lot of questions and you want to do whatever you need to do to then get that team to a point where they begin to, trust one another. They begin to build a relationship so that they can be a great team that can work together towards high performance and face the changing environment. Because the whole reason we are talking about high performance is that, look, at the end of the day, we are trying to develop a team that can, weather the storm. Because things will not always remain the same. What the team will face today will be different from what they will face tomorrow. It is by having that team, having a team, not just a group of people, that they can think together, grow together, face those challenges together, challenge one another no matter the challenges, okay? So great team, ordered backlog, and once we have that ordered backlog, we're able to work with the backlog, because remember, the backlog is what is a major tool in this environment. And another backlog, we already know what that looks like. We are using invest. We're talking about definition of ready and definition of done. We are making sure that every time we meet, we continuously break down stories and estimate them and make sure that the team understands what is happening there, okay? We are helping the product owner to make sure that the product backlog is in order. Because when you have a messy product backlog, it will just be a dumping site. You don't want it to be a dumping site. You want it to be reflective of your roadmap. Okay, you want your product backlog to be reflective of your higher roadmap, to say, you know what, on our roadmap, it is payment that is our next priority. If the payment is the next priority on your roadmap, then on your product backlog, the stories, the user stories that contribute to payment should be what is at the top of the backlog, ready for the next sprint, okay, and so on and so forth. And then when things change a little bit, then it should be reflected again in your product backlog, okay? And of course, we go into our sprint, we develop our working tested software, and of course, you know what needs to happen during this period. You want to protect the team. If anybody is coming to disturb the team, send them to the product owner, educate them, okay? Educate them. Now, I just talked about working tested software, but that's not where it ends. If we say working tested software alone, then what we are saying is that everything ends at the output stage. No. As a Scrum Master, as an Agilist, you know that if we develop features and it doesn't get into the hands of the users, and we don't get our return on investment, and we don't make an impact, then we have not really delivered value. Value doesn't end. The end of the value is not when the developers do their sprint review. You need to think beyond that as an Agilist. So some of the questions you may want to ask, the reason I'm bringing this up is to then say, how are we incorporating feedback from the market? You may want to ask that kind of question depending on the environment, okay? How is the feedback coming back? Because what impact, this product we are delivering, what impact is it making out there? If you remember the cardboard story I used, the cardboard story, do you remember the cardboard story?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. Now that cardboard story, that person just piling up cardboard was just piling up cardboard. But their thinking, their approach changed. Immediately they knew the impact that cardboard they were piling was making in people's lives. So you also want to bear this in mind to say, you know what is the feedback we're getting for this and how is that being incorporated? They will know when you start talking to them like that, they will know that you are not a Scrum Master at all. You are thinking of impact. You are thinking of quick feedback, the feedback cycle. And then not only that, when we get those feedback, it makes our team feel good. It makes our team feel purposeful that, you know what, this thing we are developing, this is the impact out there, So those things are so important in terms of how people feel about their job. So be a keen observer, a very, very keen observer. How long ago was this team formed? You want to find out. How long have they been together? Do they have a team agreement? Have they done their market of skills? Do they know each other well? Have they done journey lines? When did they start doing Agile? Maybe they were already together before they started doing Agile. Maybe they were put together because of Agile. Find out. Which training have they taken? Maybe you need to start training them on certain things, okay? Naturally, you are there to make sure they understand Scrum. So some of all these slides that I've been using with you, you will need them. You may need to, make it your own, take one slide here, take one slide there, put it together to form your own small training, because it's not as if you're going to give them all the training at once. So maybe you want to give them training about how Agile started, or training about, velocity. You can then pick some of those slides, put it together, do some more research, add it to it, and create a training session of 15 minutes or 30 minutes for them. So you may need to be doing all of that. Attend all their ceremonies to observe. Check their meetings. What are all the meetings they are having right now? You want to make sure they have effective meetings. You want to make sure that they are not having unnecessary meetings. You want to really help them to manage that schedule, to say, okay, these are the ceremonies we are having. What are these other meetings? Are there meetings we can merge? Because one of the problems people face in this environment, they say we are attending too many meetings, we don't have enough time to develop. So you want to pay attention to that. So why are these meetings happening? Aside from these Scrum ceremonies, naturally there will be other meetings, but question, what is the purpose of this meeting? Because remember, I keep saying we should meet with intent, okay? We should meet with intent. And then maybe there are meetings that can be merged. For example, like Shola was saying, they were doing 2 reviews in the sprint. What for? When Shola joined one of the companies, I think the current company, they were doing 2 reviews. In between, some stakeholder will be saying they should come and show them stuff. For what? Time that they should have been using to develop. So she had to stop that meeting. So she told them that this meeting doesn't add value. So you need to be bold enough to question things. But that is not to say everything needs to be cancelled. No. Question it and see if there's value in it. If there's value in it, fine. If you think there's no value in it, or they communicate it and everybody can see that, you know what? Why? Then help them to manage that situation. Listen attentively. Learn to listen actively. Look at people's eyes when they are talking to you, and take down notes if you have to, and reparaphrase what they have said. So if they tell you something, say it again and say, is that what you meant? Just to be sure, just to be clear. Paraphrase what people are saying. It shows that you are listening. Show body language. Give them your full attention. You want to listen because that is what will determine your actions. So you can't afford not to listen. You can't. Look out for resistance. Look out for inefficiencies. Remember value stream. How can you optimize a value stream? Okay, look out for inefficiencies. Look out for conflict. Look out for micromanagement and lack of empowerment. So take, for example, a product owner. A product owner should be empowered to make decisions. But sometimes you will see stakeholders coming to just push the product owner left, right, and center. You want to look out for that. That is a product owner that is not empowered, okay? So you want to coach that product owner, okay? To say, you know what? We can't just be going up and down. That's the reason we have this structure. We need to attend to these stakeholders, but we need to get them to understand that we are working in a particular way here and educate them, okay? Look out for Discord so that you will then know how to, the interventions to come up with to help resolve all that conflict. Look out for the proper use of the framework, okay? In as much as we are saying we don't want to be rigid, we don't want to be go by the books. Just look out. Are they doing things well enough? Are they doing things right? Okay? And it's also about using the framework in a way that is optimal. You want the team to leverage the framework for success. So that is what you are looking for. Because Scrum is about, you know what? If we do things this way, then this and this and this can happen. So the question is, are we leveraging the use of this framework to achieve our goals? That is the whole point. Team dynamics, look out for that. Ask questions. Ask questions. Take, for example, there's a tool they are using, there's a part you don't understand. Call somebody that knows it to show you. There's no shame in it. Ask questions. Of course, spend your own time researching things. But where you are not sure, please do not be shy to ask because you think you are the Scrum Master. You don't know everything. Agile coaches don't know everything either. Model emotional intelligence always. You cannot afford to lose your cool no matter the circumstance. Because you are not just what you say, you are what you do as a Scrum Master and as a coach. You are what you do. You are modeling emotional intelligence. You are living and breathing the Agile manifesto and principles. principles, okay? The values and principles. So model it, keep your cool, okay? And always analyze things before you act. Don't forget the team space. Do they have a team space? Are they using it optimally? Do they have a team name? Have they put all the information necessary in that team space? Help them get organized. Help them get organized. If they don't have a team agreement, make time, they should make time for it. Market of skills, journey lines, knowledge repository. With the team in Arizona now, they've started building a knowledge repository in their conference space, because all the guys were doing training for WordPress, and then the owner of the company had some specific things he wanted them to know. So I told them we can create a knowledge repository there. So I started it. I started putting important Agile and Scrum information there for them. They've now created another page for their Git and GitHub information. So knowledge repository, continuous improvement. How do we do that? We leverage on the retrospective, okay? And then team structure. I'm not sure if you have watched the part where we were deciding in that video whether we should be 2 teams or 1 team. Did you see that part?
Yes, I saw that part.
Okay, because they were trying to decide whether they should be 2 teams or 1 team. So at the moment, the decision is that they should be 1 team, okay? They should be 1 team because the guys from Nigeria, they are not yet well experienced yet. And then there are some things they need to clear out. So they are going to be 1 team to start with. And then later on, when the guys have really become comfortable, they will now split into 2 teams, maybe 3 or 4 sprints down the line, something like that. That's the decision that was taken. Again, context. Because of their context, they are going for 1 team. Later, when things change, they will break into 2 teams, okay? And don't forget, one thing I should warn you about, you can't do everything, bang, 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 I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. No. But create an awareness of things that needs to be done and give the reason. So take, for example, you join a team. They are doing what I call mini waterfall. Mini waterfall. Why am I calling it mini waterfall? We are doing 2-week sprint, but we are not a cross-functional, we are not a truly cross-functional team. We are not a truly cross-functional team. We have all the skills we need. The person that can do Java, that can do database, that can do UI. We have everybody in the team quite all right. But what is happening is when I develop, then I pass it to you to test. When you test, then you pass it to this. When you do this, then you pass it to that. That is what we are still doing within the 2-week sprint. We are doing what I call a mini waterfall. In order for us to be a truly cross-functional team, then we are talking about the T profile, okay? But you can't achieve it overnight. It's not possible. But once it comes into our consciousness, and it is now on our continuous improvement backlog, and we have done our market of skills, because where is the information going to come from for T profile? The information for your T profile journey is going to come from your market of skills. Okay, Grace understands UI UX. Angela understands Java. Okay, Grace wants to learn Java. Now you know that Angela can teach you Java. Things like that, okay? And then we begin to plan how we want to shadow each other to begin to learn other skills. So you have your main area, which is the deep area, and then you have your broad cross-discipline, which are the things you want to learn, okay? So bear that in mind. Let them understand the importance of T profile. Let them do their market of skills, and let us begin to see who knows what, okay? And another good thing about the market of skills is that during your market of skills, you're asking, okay, what is your main specialized area? What are the other things you know? What else do you bring to the table? So for example, if we hire a developer and the developer is saying, yes, I develop in Java. And during your market of skills, the developer is saying, I also test. Okay, so now we already know that we have somebody that can develop and also test. So we already have the skills that can take us on that journey towards a truly cross-functional team. And then we have what we call the SCARF model. This SCARF model is about psychological safety. It's about, reading the environment. It's about knowing how to react, okay? It's called the SCARF model. Representing status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness. The whole idea of this is to say, what is the problem? Okay, you have to take your time to look at this table properly. What is the problem? based on this problem we have, what is out of balance? Okay, so I will use the first one as an example. The first one says, what is my status? So take, for example, a manager that is afraid that, because we are doing agile now, I'm going to lose my status. I used to manage 20 people. Now they say they want to do agile, they want to empower the team. Where does that leave me as a manager? Now, what is out of balance for that person? That person feels threatened. That person feels threatened, okay? Now, what can you do about it? Because this table you are seeing here is for you as a coach. You are going to be a team coach. It's for you to analyze circumstances, to analyze situations, and ask yourself, what is going on here? Based on what I observe, what is out of balance? What is the situation here? What can I, as a coach, as a Scrum Master here, what can I do about it? Okay? So in this instance, you want to be able to have a one-to-one session with that person. You want to have a one-to-one session with that person to let them, to coach them into a new mindset, because this person is afraid. Remember, change is an emotional journey. So you want to approach these people and say, you know what, based on my observation, I perceive whatever it is you perceive, and I was just wondering, can we have a one-to-one session? I really want to see how I can help you, move forward. You have to choose your words very carefully, and then get into that one-to-one session where you can help them to give you the feedback of what they are feeling. And then you can then help them with the way forward in terms of, how can we go forward? Coach them into what is required in this new organization. Because most of the time, the organization has not taken time to explain to their people the why and the journey and the expectations and what is in place to help them, even though the help is there, but it has not been communicated properly. So you need to fill those gaps, okay? So, so have a look at this table. It's quite useful, and you can do more research on it on your own online, okay? It says here, I hope you can still see my screen. It talks about danger and reward state, okay? It talks about, the factors that influence the danger and reward state. So based on what is happening, do I feel threatened? Do I feel rewarded? So you need to have a look at at how this can be used. It's called the SCARF model. So team agreements, don't forget, make sure there is one. And also remember that it is not cast on stone. Even if they tell you we have one, check it out. What's on it? Okay. And every time a retrospective is held, sometimes some things may emerge that means that we need to change something or we need to add something to our team agreement. So remember, it's a dynamic document, okay? And I already talked about, are we truly cross-functional? You want to make sure that they engage in the market of skills to know what people bring to the table and to see how we can begin that journey on, making sure that we are truly cross-functional. And then I have put together a tool. I think these are just 3 tools here. One is creating a thinking space. There's a video about it. That's a video link there. And I will show you the template in a minute. The other one is the OODA loop. This one here, OODA means, I think it means observe, orient, decide, and act. Now, this is about decision making again. This is to help you make sure that you approach things right. You reflect on things before you actually take a decision. And if you go to this link here, and you can also do other research on your own, it will tell you, but I chose the one that I felt was much more informative, that will really help you understand what OODA loop is all about. Because as coaches, we must really analyze situations, reflect on them, and then, really look at the best option with which to act. It is so important. That is what makes us a real good coach, not just reacting. We must respond, because reacting and responding are 2 different things. So as a coach, we must be able to respond productively. It's about responding productively, okay? And then empathy map also, I've put that there for you, amongst other tools that you're already aware of. Let me show you the thinking space templates. But before that, let me just finish the slides and then I can come out of here. And then I talked about, just bear with me, where's my, I didn't feel that, I'll fill it up. It was something I was trying to remember, but I didn't, where is it now? It's about, where did I write it? I wrote it somewhere. Maybe somewhere when I was doing the slide, I didn't have it. So I thought I was completing this morning. Just bear with me. There you go. When you are dealing with managers and you want to help them shift, I like the metaphor gardener. Okay, so when you are dealing with managers that are afraid, that are having this emotional shift, they are lost and all of that. When you are coaching them, these are the things that will help you. You want to coach them from being a gardener, from being a manager to being a leader, to being a gardener. That gardener is a metaphor. Because if you're a gardener, you are creating an environment where plants can thrive, right? So that gardener metaphor is to let them realize that they are here to create an environment in which the team can thrive, because the team's success is their success. And the three areas that they need to focus on is they need to create clarity, increase capability, and improve the system. And that was what I wanted to put there. I just put ABC there just to remind me, okay? And I'll make sure I edit that. In fact, let me do it right now. It is about creating clarity. I hope you can still see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. It's about creating clarity, increase capability, and improve the system. Now, this is what their new role, this is the high-level definition of the new role of a manager that, is now in this agile environment and whose mindset needs to shift. So you are creating, you are coaching them into saying, you know what? Now your role is about creating clarity for the team. Your role is about creating an enabling environment for the team. Your role now is about increasing the team's capability. Now, how can this person increase their capability? Maybe there are some conferences, this person can make a case for them to attend that conference. Training, this person can make a case for them for why the company needs to invest money for them to go and learn Java or whatever the case may be. That is you now increasing their capability. This person is helping them remove impediments. When we talk about improving the system, remember, people can be working in a system that is dragging them back. So as a manager with this new mindset, you are helping them remove organizational impediments. Okay? You're helping them remove organizational impediments by helping them improve the system in which they operate. Okay? So this is what you are coaching this person into, to say, this is your new role. Because you see, they feel they are less important, but actually, they feel they are less relevant. But actually, with this agile environment, they are more relevant. They just haven't seen it yet. They are much more relevant now because of what they now need to do. They are mentors, they are facilitators, they are a coach now, they're a leader now, instead of micromanaging people, in which case they have their head down instead of being much more strategic in this role. So we are moving them from being at the tactical level to saying you should be operating at the strategic level for this team. So that is how your coaching should go if you encounter people in this category that are struggling with their new role. This is how you want to go about it. And of course, you can do more research on your own. Okay, so let me show you, let me come out of here. Let me show you I saved it. Kemiragi sent it to me yesterday. Let me stop sharing. Let me go here. Kemi sent it to me yesterday. Yes. So, I should have opened it. Bear with me. Agile. What did I call it? What did I call it? know what? Let me just open it up again. I'm sure. What did I call it? I called it. Actually, I know what to do. If I go to Word, I'll see it. Thinking environment. That's it. Thinking environment. Okay. Enable. Share screen. There you go. Now, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
After this session this morning, I'm going to send you this template. I'm going to send you the slides. And once I compile the video, I'm going to send you the recording as well. So I'm going to, let me stop recording now because so that it will compile before I start my next session. So this template here, because remember, an agile team is an autonomous team, okay? An agile team is an autonomous team. So if a team is autonomous, it means this team, they need to be able to think on their toes. You want them to be innovative. You want them to be creative. So you as a Scrum Master, how can you help them create a thinking environment? This is what this is about. How can you help them create a thinking environment? You as a Scrum Master, this is telling you the things you should look out for, okay? That is what this is telling you. If you read the template yourself, it will make sense to you. I will leave you to do that yourself. And if you have any questions, come back to me. And the good thing about this is there's a video that I'm going to send to you to do with this template, okay? It was my friend that presented it. So I actually told her to send it to me yesterday so I can share it with you guys. So I will send you the video for this presentation and I will send you this actual template. Now, must you use this template like this? No, you can improve it. You can improve this template based on what you also observe. Improve it, send it to me and say, Mary, I used this template, but these were the changes I made so that I too can learn from your own changes too. That is how this environment is supposed to work. It was somebody that sent this to me yesterday because I just looked at it. Why should I start from ground zero when I know that somebody else has this template? I just called her, Kemi, she's in Canada, Joe, send me that template. I need it for my mentees. And she sent it yesterday. But if I want to use it, I may need to change it. If you want to use it, you may need to improve on it too. You know, and when you do, you share it also to say, I used it too and it worked very well, but this was what I changed, blah, 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 like that. So I will send the video to you and I will send this template to you as well. So let me stop here. Let me stop recording so that it will compile before I start our next lecture at 8. But what questions do you have, please? What questions do you have for when you start? What are you concerned about? This is where I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop the recording. Stop recording.